It's the Jill of all trades, Michelle C, aka DJ Make a Move. She cute. Your host of Kandid Kisses TV, everywhere you need to be. And if you don't know by now, it's not your typical interview, y'all.
Kandid Kisses blown away. Kandid Kisses TV for tomorrow today. Man, throw that auto-tune on that bitch. Have me sound like Teddy Payne.
Hi, this is Kim Cole, and you are rocking with Kandid Kisses TV.
It's your boy Talent, baby. We chillin', Kandid Kisses TV with my girl Michelle C. Don't take it personal.
Yo, what's up? It's bruh man from the fifth floor. In the ATL, chillin' with Kandid Kisses TV.
What's up, y'all? You're watching Kandid Kisses TV with my homegirl Michelle.
Hello there. Have you asked yourself what you're missing? I have. It's Kandid Kisses TV.
And we are live. Welcome, everybody. It's your girl, Michelle C, aka DJ Make a Move, the Jill of all trees, everywhere you need to be. Now, before we get started, we did start a little early because I know how y'all be kind of straggling at the end. But go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you are following the page. We are on Instagram, Anchor, Spotify, everything streaming. We on there. And guess what? I got a secret. It's free. So it don't take nothing but like 2 seconds to go ahead and click, hook your girl up. But I'm bringing you another dope channel like I always do. Okay, first and foremost, I met this brother a couple of years ago. He's been doing his thing for a very long time. But what I did definitely enjoy about him is his humble spirit and the fact that he is really just rocking the stages here and there. He's also an actor. And a lot of people didn't know he do music too. So let me get into it. Introducing Mr. Barry Brewer Jr.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Please tell everybody how they can find you on social media if they don't know.
I am on all social media, Barry Brewer Jr., Barry with an A, Brewer, BREWERJR, on all platforms. And my website is iambarrybrewer.com.
Okay, so let's get into it. My first question I always like to ask is what made that entertainment thing, that calling on your heart, and what made you want to get into the game?
Yes. Hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry. Sorry, my sister was
Come on, you know how to mute. Come on.
my assistant was making sure I was on here, so she's calling me to confirm that I was on here. Can you ask that question again, please?
So what made you want to get into the entertainment industry?
Oh man, it was my desire to make people laugh. Like, I love laughing, and I was a big fan of entertainment, like love watching movies, love laughing. And so I tried doing it when I was a teenager, being a comedian, standing ovation my first time. And I feel like I found something I didn't know I was looking for. I was 19. When you're trying to find your way. When 19, you don't know what you want to do in life. So you're trying different things. And so I found out that I had the gift to make people laugh. And I was just like, I had already been a fan of Martin and Jamie Foxx and all of these people. I was like, well, I might as well just do that. And that's
now, what kept you from being nervous?
Huh?
What kept you from being nervous to like hopping on the stage? Because the stage is a scary place to get on.
Nothing keeps me from being nervous. I'm still nervous today, years and years and years later. Like, there's always a certain level of nervousness, and I believe it keeps you humble, right? Because it's that feeling of wanting to do good, wanting to be successful at it. So obviously, more nerves was early on, but just having that attitude. I'm from Chicago, so just what's the worst that can happen? Like believing that, it could be good. It could be great. Because I think what makes you nervous is just that the possibility of failing, Yeah. And my mom always say, but what if you win?
You got to believe in that. Like, it's funny that you say that. It reminds me of ironically, my brother, because he used to always be in some nonsense, and my mom would be hearing him like, all right, look, we should do this, and I'm like, well, what if we get caught? And he'd be like, but what if we don't? So you're right.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it was that little bit of, silver lining. It's like, well, let me see. I mean, I had nothing to lose. So once I saw I was good at it, because I was definitely very nervous and I prayed before I got up there. When I saw I did good, I'm just like, oh, I can do this. So
Absolutely.
I've been chasing that ever since.
So I always like to ask, because you are, blessed enough to have your own comedy special.
Yes, that is a blessing.
So what was that feeling like? Like just saying, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna do my thing, I'm gonna get it recorded, I'm finna get it on Amazon of all places. Come on.
Yeah, it got, and that wasn't ultimately the goal of where it would go. That's one of the places that it lives on. It lives on iTunes, it lives on Vudu, it's on a few cable networks like in Xfinity. But the main place, I know a lot of people have Prime, so that's one of the places it lives on. But that's probably one of the biggest accomplishments in my career, because as a comedian, when you start out, that's your goal, is to get there. I take it as a lawyer going to law school, or a doctor going to, hopefully, to get that, to say I'm that, I've arrived. So to be able to have that, and I always, you never know what way it's gonna come. So I just believed I was ready. I put the resources together, and to see it come to life, and to see people be able to see it and reach people that I've never met before who enjoys it, I think it's one of those accomplishments personally. You be like, wow, look at that. I did that. That's what's up. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely makes me proud and accomplished in that way as a stand-up comedian.
Now, one thing I did learn being behind the scenes in comedy is that comedians are writers. I never looked at it like that, because I mean, it's a plethora of things y'all do. Y'all write, y'all act, y'all come up with sketches, all that good stuff. So when did you know that you were a good writer?
Man, I don't think you really know until people laugh. Like, it's the response from the audience, right? And then I wrote a movie. I wrote my first short film. My second short film I wrote, and it premiered in this theater. It was like 200 people in the movie theater. So it was a different type of writing, like writing scripts to see how they enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? And so when I saw that, I'm sorry, trying to get my little setup together. Okay, that's the light. Okay. Oh shoot. Okay, I'm back.
Players make mistakes too.
It was just the reaction of the audience, live, when you're live, and the jokes you wrote and them responding, and then on screen when I see them laugh and react to the dialogue I wrote for the different characters that perform. So that's when I thought, I was like, oh, I'm good at this, to see the reaction or the results from it.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I know that you did that caught fire was with you and your crew.
The whole crew is stupid.
We all stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was shout out to Johnny.
Hilarious too.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. I think your Wi-Fi kind of go ahead again.
I'm out of town. I'm on set. So this is my little situation. So yeah, sometimes the Wi-Fi is a little bit.
No, we got you. I can hear you now.
Okay.
But that's one thing.
Your turn.
I actually we're gonna make it through. We're gonna make it happen. My first viewing of you was through the Big Jaw, the skits that you were doing him, which then I realized I had known your comedy all along, because I'm a comedy fan. I remember from the Who Got Jokes. I'm like, oh, he ain't new. We're doing this thing. So that's what was really dope. That when you find a crew that you can like click with and write and come together, that's always extra dope. So I'm sure that's extremely fun working with them, and then actually working on your own projects as well. I saw one of the skits that you did with I think it was like you were the choir director, I believe.
Oh yeah, Brother Antoine. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's right. He do music too. So the music thing. How did that start?
Man, church is definitely a foundation for everything that I've found about myself, as far as my comedy, my acting. That was my first opportunity was in church, and music. Definitely, I started to play the drums when I was young in church, and then moved on to the saxophone, then moved on to the piano.
The saxophone. Listen, you don't even understand this. I've always wanted to learn how to play the saxophone.
It's not too late.
It's not. I don't know if I do a lot of things, so I don't know if I want to add that to.
Right, because you got to give that your time, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, is it because I'm musically inclined? I DJ and stuff too, but like, is it really like hard, or is it? I mean, just practice.
Yeah, it's just practice. I really, you'll learn that about a lot of things. It's really about the work you put into it. You can really be great at anything. It's really the work and the attention you give that thing, and you'll be surprised. You'll surprise yourself at what you can.
I can't believe that's what. Why don't you post anything about the saxophone?
I haven't played it. I showed my wife I could play. It was a long time ago. Like I always told her. So I went to the good time to the Sam Ash and that one. They let me use one. I played a song for it and I recorded it. But I don't have one. I need to buy one and play around with it. But I still play piano more frequently. I stopped playing saxophone consistently probably since high school. But
let me find out you Prince and you got multiple instruments you can play. What else you? So you got the piano, the saxophone, the drums. What else you got? Can you play the recorder?
I can play the recorder a little bit. Everybody can play the recorder.
Look, I'm a kazoo fool. Look, I'm a kazoo specialist. I got you on the kazoo all day long. My triangle game strong. I'm telling you.
My triangle game.
What you saying? No, what types of films are you passionate about creating and being in? Because I know that you are doing a lot in acting lately. Because you are doing what the games people play. By the way, is it coming back? Because I love the show.
That's what we're filming right now.
Yes,
right now. First day of filming starts tomorrow.
Okay, when are y'all dropping? Like I need because that's my show.
I would know, but I'm assuming like probably this fall. Is what I believe, but I'm speaking ignorantly because I do not know. So but I would assume because I'm sure that they want to get it out because people have been asking for sure.
It's so good, like it's one of them shows that you kind of like, all right, let me see what it's about. I'm like, wait a minute, where the popcorn? Okay,
yeah. That's exactly right.
I'm loving that show, and then Bruh is also hilarious. It actually threw me off with I can't think of the lady's name, but she plays your mother.
Yes, her name's Alice on the show, and Chandra Corelli is her real name.
The only reason it threw me off because I'm used to her for the gospel and like I'm like, oh, she can get with it, okay.
Yeah. she has different facets for sure.
She definitely has range. But what do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy more of the series, or are you like more invested in like trying to do more movies?
I love movies. I haven't gotten a chance to do a feature yet. So I would probably need to do that first to then make a judgment on which one I like more. But I've always saw myself doing both, but I definitely love film. Me personally, I love film. I love film, but I feel like TV is starting to become more cinematic, more visual, like in that way. So I'm definitely appreciating that. So I don't want to, I think they kind of work the same. I think a movie is just, more of a concept you can build in and out, and it's one little package. And then TV can go on for years and years, and you kind of grow to love this character or these characters that you see grow right before your eyes.
Well, when I speak of movies, because you're a creator too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, do you love like the creation of it, or do you love more the in front of the screen vibe of it?
That's a great question. I think I enjoy both components. If I had to pick one, I would say I enjoy performing because it's a lot less stress. When you create a film or a television show, it's so many more responsibilities, and you can't just enjoy one component. So I think whichever component I would have to do, I would just want to do that and not do all of them, because in being a creator early on, you're really responsible for every component. And I'm grateful for that journey and learning that, but I definitely enjoy just being an actor, getting my script, going to perform and be free, and don't worry about the other stuff. But I also want to be able to help other people and to open doors for other, actors and actresses and creators like myself. So therefore, you have to get behind the camera. So that's, I think, a lot. That is my motive for that, opening up doors and being able to have the resources and the platform to open up doors. Because if you're just an actor, you're always just the person getting hired and not doing the hiring. So therefore, that's why I go on the back end.
Well, I know working on the set with Tyler Perry, you have to be inspired some kind of way because I actually was blessed to do makeup for his set, and just looking at what he has accomplished, it just makes me say, "Dang, everything's possible." And it's like the fact that you see how fast he works, like, does that motivate you to say, okay, when I get ready to create my movie or whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to work like that?
I definitely, it helped me recently, like from watching him the first season that I worked with him, and it's just an amazing opportunity. And I don't say that lightly. It's one thing to see someone far away and kind of admire them. It's another thing to be up and close, to really see their work ethic and to see how they create, see what's the method behind the madness. And so, yes, he's definitely helped me. I did a project right after that I was over, that I wrote, directed, and produced, and they were calling me Tyler Perry Jr. because one of the actresses, two of the actresses worked with me, and they worked with Mr. Perry before. So I took some things I learned on set and I applied them to be more efficient in what I was trying to accomplish. So I've learned so much, and yes, I've learned so much and taken so much, and you'll be a fool not to.
I've never seen anybody work that fast and efficiently. Because it's like you be on sets for hours. You'd be like, wait a minute, we're on season 4 already? Like, wait a minute.
It's insane. But yeah, I've learned a lot.
Well, speaking of, if you're ever filming an ATL, I will pull up. I am an actress extraordinaire. So
okay. If I'm filming my own thing, I'm an ATL. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I got you. I'm glad to know that.
Listen, I'm ready. I'm taking acting class. You're gonna find out. If y'all don't know yet. If y'all don't know, your girl pulling up soon. Okay.
Pull up.
So, what is one valuable thing that you have learned during the quarantine? Because the quarantine has, listen, it done made everybody rethink and pivot. So, what did you learn during the quarantine time?
The most important thing is just try to appreciate every moment. Try to really appreciate every moment. I think there's a lot of things we can take from this pandemic, but one thing is that life is precious and you just never know when it's over. And so if you can just appreciate every moment, and anytime you get an opportunity to do whatever, you give it your all, I think you can live with the results and live with whenever the end comes. So I think that's what it's done for me. Seeing life and people's lives taken, and people you just didn't expect. They were here today. I just got a call. A young lady I did Windy City Live. I was interviewed when my stand-up special came out, and she was one of the personalities that came on the show. Just random comedian. Got to meet her and enjoy her. And my publicist had sent me something saying that she passed away from COVID today, and I was just like, what? The same lady who I was just laughing with? She's like, yeah. So those are the moments that say, okay, I need to embrace this moment. I need to be aware. Let me make the best of every moment. I don't hold no grudges. I don't have no issues with anybody. Maybe you did do something to me. Maybe I did something to you. I'm sorry. Let me try to be purposeful in everything I do. So whenever time expires, I did what I was supposed to do with that time I was given.
And see, this is some things that people don't appreciate about comedians. Like when you find out that you have something like that happen, it's hard to just, smile through it. But the fact that you can is just a gift in itself, because that's a struggle. but that's what being a professional is.
Exactly.
Now, I always like to get a little bit deeper with my people because, you're more than just your career. So I like to ask a little stuff about you, like who's your favorite rapper and singer and why?
That's a great question. Favorite rapper. I know people my favorite rapper is Kanye West.
Okay.
And and why is because of his ability to be vulnerable about I think his artistry early on especially was very honest in who he was. Like not trying to be a gangster, but being really transparent in the character he was. Like, I'm not a street dude, but I'm from this world, and this is how I said his metaphors, his musical ear really attracts me. How he brought music and gospel and all the elements to it. Like he was hip hop, but he was he had this neo soul vibe, and he had these gospel stuff, and he just brought all of these meshes of all the different spaces and was himself. You know, I love that. Favorite singer is Brandy.
Come on,
two singers. It's Brandy and Tank.
Finally, somebody feel me.
Brandy and Tank is my two favorite singers. So I gotta say both because they're girl and guy, but it's Brandy and Tank.
Okay. I already know why Brandy, because she an Aquarius. So you know, Aquarius pull up all the time. But
yeah, and they're both like my favorites. Huh?
People sleep on Brandy's vocals. I take that back. I ain't even gonna lie. I slept on Brandy's vocals a while back until recently because I always knew she could sing, but I didn't know her range until she started doing her YouTube videos and she was doing her solos in the bathroom. I was like, oh, okay, that's what we doing.
What's funny? That's so true. Me and Big Jai had an argument about Brandy versus Monica, and it's funny because a lot of her records don't really show her range. Mm-hmm. You know, because her tone is so amazing. So a lot of the records she do is just about the essence of her voice, which is one of her amazing attributes. But her range is crazy. Her runs, her sound. You know, she's really has a lot, and she's an amazing person. I've been blessed to meet her and be in her space. She actually came to one of my comedy shows.
Oh, she's super dope. I got a chance to meet her. She's so chill and laid back. It's just like that's what I need. Okay,
man, she's one of the dopest people you'll ever meet, man. And shout out to her and her brother Ray. But yeah, man, before I met her, I was a fan. I was one of the biggest. She's my. I don't think I've ever told her that. Like I had a lot of interest, but I've never said, "Hey, you're my favorite singer," because that's just never what I did. But she's definitely one of my top.
Okay, well, let me ask you something before we move on to the next question. On the Brandy and Monica, when they did it, of course, I had my popcorn. I was ready because, first of all, I'm from Carson, so I got the LA.
Brandy then. Yeah.
And you know, I was raised with Monica. I grew up with her brother and them, so I'm like, okay, ATL in the bit. I'm like, it was a toss up, but I feel like because just like what you said, that a lot of her songs didn't show her range, that a lot of people were kind of going with Monica because of the I guess the soul behind it, like her vibe. But
that's a great way
I don't think they did the proper lineup. Like before the show even hit the air versus, I did my own little look. These are the songs they need to do. Because
and it can't really be a competition because if you're a fan of Monica, you're gonna naturally just vibe with her records more. Right. Because that's who you already attracted to. So it's not like a real competition, like who's the winner at the end, because there's already a bias inside of each person listening. You know what I mean? Like who has the most hits? Okay, maybe we can see what the general people who don't really know these records, don't know these records, maybe. But you know, it was just seeming like, and I love Brandy because it really was true who she is. She wasn't about no competition. She's a fan of music. You know, she's a fan of the art. She's a fan of what she does, and so I think she exuded that, and I think that's what it's about. It's just it's like she gonna always be dope. And if you like Monica, she ain't mad at you. She's like, hey, we do music, you know. It's it's for everybody. So yeah.
But I love that because when I was looking at the battle, I wasn't looking at it and vocally, I don't even think that because their tones are totally different. But I'm like, I think it's really like, okay, whose songs you like better? That's what it boils down to. Because I don't think vocally they totally different in my opinion. But I think they both did an awesome job. Kept it cute. It was really dope about it. But okay. Well, speaking of, that was my next question. Who is your favorite versus battles so far?
That's a good question because I don't really watch the versus battle. So
okay.
Brian McKnight ain't did no verses. R. Kelly did no verses. I would love to see his verses. Stevie Wonder ain't did no verses.
Look, okay, who would
Nobody can compete with Stevie Wonder. So all the people I would care about to do a versus, Tank ain't did no verses. Chris Brown ain't did no verses.
Okay.
So them all my artists. So my favorite verses would be Brandy and Monica for sure.
So if you had all the artists you named, if you had to put like, okay, a Stevie Wonder, if you had to pick somebody to go against him, who would it be?
I would have to pick the whole Motown family.
True.
I was counting. Stevie Wonder has so many hits. Like nobody can really. I don't think one artist you would have to find a child artist that could even hang and it wouldn't even work. That's been like a Michael Jackson, and he's still, and as great as Michael is, Michael can't still hang with Stevie. So I don't really know what artist would have the catalog that Stevie Wonder has. Like, I mean, you would have to go to a writer and they would have to pull all their songs they've written for other artists.
If we had to do one, just cause, I would say the only people that can probably be in that category might be R. Kelly.
R. Kelly's a great, and they're two different worlds, but he would have the catalog. I agree. That's right. See, you know music. I totally agree. R. Kelly is the only one that would have that catalog that can sit next to Stevie's. It will obviously be different styles of music or kinds of music, but for sure, I agree. R. Kelly could do that. R. Kelly's amazing, man. So yeah, I know he's in a lot of situation right now, but yeah.
Hey, you know, you can't. A genius is a genius. That's all I can say.
I respect that. I respect that. A genius is a genius, regardless of what his issues is or whatever the case may be, or whatever's going on with that.
I'm telling you. Well, we're moving back to your comedy just for a second, because I know a lot of times guys always talk about their favorite male comedian, but who is your favorite female comedian?
That is a great question. I would say who I really enjoy watching is Leslie Jones.
Okay.
Somebody who I know is going to rip. It's more than that, but she just comes off first. It's this comedian that's like a classmate of mine. I love listening to her. Her name's Zaynab Johnson. I love her.
Heard of her? I don't think I was. Is she the one that has the French accent? I think.
No. Zaynab she's Muslim, but she's from New York. She lives in LA. She's just one of my peers, actually. So she's a monster. I love watching her. There's so many more, but all
right, give me this top three. If you had to be the promoter of the show, top three lady comedians you putting on the show.
Zaynab, Jess Niche, and Kelly Kales.
Okay. I'm rocking the Kelly's the homie, so I'm rocking with both, and Jess Niche, so rocking with both of them. I don't know if they
gotta put my people on. They gonna rock me. That show gonna go crazy.
Absolutely.
But they're gonna have two different worlds. One is more like Zaynab's chill and just real, just very thought-provoking stuff. And then Jess Niche and Kelly Kales are finna take it to a different.
Kelly's cool. Just Niche is too, so I definitely I gotta Google Zaynab, but I know that show will be lit because they both stupid. So,
yeah.
What are some words of wisdom you would give any upcoming entertainer or entrepreneur?
First of all, just believe in yourself and never give up. Try to make sure you're focusing on anything. This is a lot, so it's not one thing. But I'm going to give you three things. Believe in what you want to do, and make sure you're looking at everything that you can do within your power to push yourself forward in whatever that is. Know that you have all the tools with you. Sometimes we feel like we don't have enough. Ain't nobody looking for me. Ain't nobody, like, for example, when nobody like look for me, I'll create a film. I want to be an actor. I'll make my own film.
That's right.
However, with my iPhone, whatever, like build your own stuff. Like see wherever you want to go. Do you believe in you? If that's so, show me the evidence of it. Show yourself the evidence. What are you doing within your power to help you get to your dreams? And everybody else gonna buy in that later. You gotta believe it. So what is the evidence that you believe? Because I don't like when people are like, yeah. So I just would challenge people to do that and really believe it. Don't allow what you don't have or what people may say or not say to dictate if you are good or if you can make it in this thing. It's about your belief in it. Because if you don't believe in it, I don't think anybody else will buy into it either. So that's what I would say.
And the illustrious words of Eminem, I am whatever I say I am.
Hey, that's God. That's biblical, actually.
That's right. That's right.
God said, I am that I am.
All day long. Okay, because I said so. Your mama even said that because I said so.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on to the next segment, name one of your favorite entrepreneurs to date? Like, who do you think that you admire?
Tyler Perry, off bat.
All day.
One of my favorites. Somebody who took his dream took what he wanted to do and built on that alone and became a billionaire. Where people say, "Oh man, you'll never make money with those people." The church, black people are responsible for his success, and like it just shows you, like, people tell you like, "Oh no, that ain't gonna be," like, believe it. If you stay with it, So yeah.
I mean, if people realize how much the church has an impact on communities, period. So I mean, just when you start there, you win it anyway. Well, we are moving on to our segment. We posted on here. This is our Kiss or Diss segment. It is celebrity crushes.
I love this.
I'm going to name a couple of celebrity crushes. You're going to decide who you kissing, who you dissing. All right. We got Halle Berry or Janet Jackson. Who you kissing, who you dissing?
I'm going to diss Halle Berry. I'm going to have to diss Janet.
Oh, Lord. Don't do that. Okay.
I had to diss one of them. I'll tell you why.
I think I know your why, but I ain't going to
tell me why. Tell me why you think. Tell me.
I feel like because she dated JD, maybe? I don't know.
I just think, like, I don't know. Janet reminds me of, I think all the Jacksons just remind me of Michael. So I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. I love Janet, but I'm not very, like, I admire her for her gift and her art, but I know she's a beautiful woman, but she don't do it for me. You know what I mean? Like, she's just.
I mean, when you got a reference, be like, you look like your brother, and not trying to be funny, but because they do, because they're family.
You talking about Janet today? We're not talking about Janet on Poetic Justice, because that's a different Janet.
True.
You get what I'm saying? Like, Janet back then, oh yeah, but this a different Janet today.
Okay, so you like Pleasure Principle Janet?
Yes, that's a different person. You know, my favorite, who I really want, if I could, is Regina King. That's my favorite of all time. Like I told my wife, if I ever get a chance, you're gonna have to give me grace.
That's gonna be your hall pass.
I need that hall pass for Regina King for sure.
All right, next one: Faith Evans or Jasmine Sullivan. Who you kissing? Who you dissing?
Oh, that's tough. I'm kissing Jasmine Sullivan. I absolutely love her. But I love Faith, but Faith gotta be gone. She gotta go. I'm kissing Jasmine for sure.
All right. And last one, Roseanne Barr or Rosie O'Donnell. Who you kissing? Who you dissing?
Oh no, that's messed up. I was gonna tell you, Faith that lost weight. She said, "I like a little meat on my bones," but them both got meat on their bones. So one don't like me though.
I didn't say where you had to kiss them. It could be their cheek, it could be their forehead, it could be whatever.
Oh, well, I would say Roseanne. The Barr, yeah, Roseanne. Wait, that's Roseanne from the show, right?
Yes.
Yes. Who used to be with Tom?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Roseanne Barr for sure. Roseanne. I like Rosie O'Donnell, but she don't look like it wouldn't be pleasurable. It looked like neither one of us would enjoy it. We both would be uncomfortable. She would not understand. I would be confused. It would.
So we are moving on to our next segment, which is our dumbass questions. They're just random questions I want answers to.
Okay.
If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
If my life had a theme song, it would be. I got a song. Hold on, let me think. That's a good one. Shoot. You know, I take these things very serious, so I'm like, I gotta really get this one right. If my life had a theme song, it would be Champion by Kanye West. Did you realize that you were a champion?
Champion? Okay, your Wi-Fi broke up a little bit. So you said Champion by Kanye West?
Yes. Did you realize you're a champion?
Okay, that whole album went hard. That was my favorite Kanye West album. Actually, when I got a chance to meet him, that's funny when you're saying how like cool and down to earth he was. I actually met him at a radio station a couple times, and before I knew who he was, he's eclectic, but he's too.
Kanye. You talk about Kanye?
Yeah.
Oh, I never met Kanye.
Well, I'm saying I got a chance to meet him, and he was very unique and eclectic. I have a business called Kissable Lips Cosmetics, so I was talking about like when you do your, if you need a makeup artist, here you go. And he was like, yeah, when I was in high school, I had the most unkissable lips. I was like, Okay. He always been kind of, but
I've heard the exact stories about Kanye. He is just other places. You can't have a straight, direct conversation. He goes a whole nother direction. You be like, what? Wait, okay. But he's different now than he was. You know, I think when his mother passed, unfortunately, rest in peace, Miss West. You know.
Yeah, I mean that was it.
Changed and things. Yeah.
All right. Next question. If you could body slam and crip walk on someone's face to anyone in your path that you know personally with no consequences, who would it be?
I can't tell you the first person that came to my mind.
Oh, Lord. Why?
For legal purposes, no.
You could just drop the initials.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Because I don't want to feel that way, even though it's true. I'm gonna choose to pass on that one because it will only probably be one person, and so I'm not gonna say that.
Well, it don't have to be somebody. If it in your past, it could be a teacher. It could be something in your
I don't have that feeling about nobody.
Okay.
Only
right.
one. Yeah, I don't really have that feeling about nobody. So I would.
We gonna have an anonymous person that get dropped, kicked, and crip walked on whoever you may be. Just know he had these hands ready for you. Okay. What is one embarrassing moment you're willing to share that you will never forget about your childhood?
One of the most embarrassing moments is when I boo-booed on myself in 4th grade.
Oh, Jesus.
I did it again as an adult, but it wasn't that embarrassing because I was by myself. But I just couldn't help myself. You know, you think, and everybody has had this moment. You think it's a fart, but it's not. And you ate something and your booty's loose.
That was your nickname, Loose Booty, for the rest of the day.
Loose booty, and it just. And I had these thick jeans on, and I remember like how I'm gonna get through the rest of the day because it was like the middle of the day. We hadn't even went to lunch yet.
Oh God!
All day, kids was just like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And I was just acting along like, "Oh, what is that?" And I had the longest walk home. Put that on me.
Well, it didn't dawn on you to go to the restroom and just like.
I was on my way to the restroom, but it came out during that process, and I tried to wipe as much of it out my jeans as possible. But I would have had to go home, so it was kind of still stuck on my jeans. Don't judge me.
and then it was thick jeans too. Oh God!
It was them thick, you know, them thick blue jeans. So I couldn't really get it out, and then I had to walk on. You had to walk on with it on you. It just, I understand how babies feel when they're crying. They gotta need to be changed. Like
I know.
The worst feeling ever.
Now, what's the worst name you could give a Baptist choir?
A worst name you can give a Baptist choir. Can't sing chorale or something like that. A toneless, the tone deaf ministry choir.
I'll name mine Sinning and Winning Baptist Choir.
Sinning and Winning. I like that. That ain't no bad name. I respect that.
Hey,
I'm still. Hey, we all sinners. We still trying to get in.
Hey, we fall down.
Get back up. That's all you got to remember.
Okay, name 3 items you would purchase to make a cashier feel uncomfortable.
Cashier, is she a guy or girl? I mean, is it a guy or a girl?
A girl cashier.
Okay, girl, because it matters, right?
Right.
Some like itchy type of something like for itching in your private part area, like some type of ointment or something like that.
Okay, so you got ointment.
Yeah, she would be uncomfortable for me. What else I would purchase? Like, yeah, like a Plan B pill.
Okay, so you got ointment, Plan B, and what's your third?
I put Plan B pill there, like they ain't gonna make it.
Not with the serious face.
Like what? Oh, what's the third one? I would go with a big box of condoms and says, "Do these come in extra small?" Like,
Well, I would holler. I'd be like, actually, sir, they do. They're on our floor, and
that's funny.
oh god. Okay, we are moving on to what grinds your gangster. Name one of your pet peeves.
I don't like arrogant people.
Okay.
I don't like arrogant people at all. Like, it bothers me. Like, everybody bleed red. Like, nobody's, like when people act like they're better than somebody, it's just, I don't like that.
I don't
like
impatient people, even though
I
I am.
People either.
That all day.
You don't like yourself?
No. I mean, well, no, I love myself. I can be impatient. It's y'all that can't.
You can't say I don't like impatient people, but I'm impatient.
That's why I don't like them. Opposites attract.
That is awesome.
I know what I'm doing to y'all, but y'all don't need to do it.
How you not gonna like the very attribute that you possess?
I'm working on that, but
okay,
so
all right,
until
you're working on it.
Y'all get it together.
Okay, you're working on it. I respect it.
So last but not least, we are coming up to our game Sing-A-Doo. So Sing-A-Doo is a game me and my homeboy DJ All-Star created over the quarantine. Shouts out to DJ All-Star. It is a musical game that you can only use the word do. So basically, I have songs in the card, and I pick a song and I'll sing the melody of the song, but I can only use the word do. And then you have to guess what it is. So try to get as many guesses within the time allotted.
Okay.
So we have different categories. So I'm gonna do 2 or 3, and then I'm gonna hold up the card so you can do something and I'll guess. We got hip hop and R&B. We got greatest hits, pop Billboard hits, country rock, Sing-A-Doo favorites, old school, TV themes, and party and dance hits. I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't do country and rock, so you gotta pick any other.
Hip hop and R&B for sure. I got you.
All right, cool. Ready?
Yes.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. You don't know it?
I have no idea what that is. I don't know at all.
Was blaming on the alcohol.
Oh, it sounded. I'm like, is that a guitar? Yeah.
I didn't say I had range. I can do it, but I ain't say.
Yeah, I get it now, but definitely I would give me another one.
All right. Okay, it's hip hop and R&B. Do 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 do. Why are you looking like that?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, that was supposed to be "Please Me, Baby." So with was it Cardi B and Bruno Mars?
Oh yeah, I don't know that song.
Okay, so that wasn't my fault. Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna see if you can do any dudes better than me. So I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold the card up and then just let me pick whatever song on the card that you want to do, and let me know, and I'll put the card down so then I can guess it. You ready?
Okay. Okay, I'm doing the middle one.
All right, go ahead.
Do 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 do. Yeah, you see how good I am?
Listen, I said I didn't have range. I just said I knew how to do this.
You see how easy it was though?
Well, you picked the easy song.
Do. What is that? You're doing it.
But it sound right though to me.
You sound like you're doing a kick drum to the song. I picked
the instrument and I ran with it. That's all.
Oh, is that the kick drum? Like, what is this? Okay.
Try another one. Okay, you got it.
I can't see. It's upside down.
Oh, okay. You got it.
Hold on. No, I'm trying to see which one I want to do. Okay, the third one. All right. Yep.
All right.
Do.
Oh, what
You see how easy that is?
First of all, you the musical genius over there. You do the drums and look. All I do is write and sing a little
Every
bit.
black person can hum a note and song. You was humming
That's
a
not
note.
true. That is not true.
But you were doing. I said most black people, not every black people, but most. I should have said most if I didn't say it. Yes, most black people.
I take the back. You are right. You can hum it, but can you do it? See, it's a little bit different when you're doing it.
Do. You.
I could have did that.
Dude, I know. That's what I'm saying. You doing things, but you could do better. That's what I'm saying.
Don't come for me. Don't at me, cuz. Don't at me. Well, that is how you play Singadu. So if you're interested, you all can get it at singadu.com. But we have to, before we close out, we have to talk about your apparel line. Please let them know how to find that, where to get it. Well, I got it on there already, but let them know about it.
Yes, my clothing brand. Only believe is my motto. It's really where my foundation lies, in my belief. But more importantly, just as we all chase our dreams and goals and things we want to get to, man, my motto is only believe. And only believe is a way of life. So from that, I created a clothing line that has women and men athleisure wear, shirts, jogging sets, nice different things. So check out onlybelieveapparel.com. And if you like what you see, please, indulge and purchase you some items and continue to believe in your dreams.
Okay, and then last but not least, make sure you cop his comedy album, please.
Yeah. It's a visual and it's an album version of it, but it's also a visual movie. Chicago I'm Home, Barry Bruce Chicago I'm Home is on all platforms except from Hulu, and it's not on Netflix. It's not on Hulu. It's on everywhere else. But it's on Amazon Prime. If you're a Prime user, it's free to you. It's on Vudu. It's on Google Play. It's on iTunes. But the name of it is Chicago I'm Home, Barry Bruce Chicago I'm Home. It's my debut stand-up special. I think you won't be disappointed. It's a family. You can watch it with your family. It's kid-friendly. It's no profanity, no vulgarity. Please check it out.
And it's true because I actually watched it. So you definitely want to check that out. And if people that don't know, it's hard to do clean comedy. So if you get somebody to make you laugh and they ain't not even cussing, you got you one. So thank you for your time. Drop your Instagram information.
My IG is Barry Brewer Jr. on every other platform, Barry Brewer Jr. So please follow me on IG. I got a YouTube page, Barry Brewer Jr., Facebook page, Barry Brewer Jr. DM me, follow me, keep in touch. I would greatly appreciate it.
All right, and I appreciate you. We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Kandid Kisses TV is sponsored by Singadu. Did you do it today?
Singadu.
Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it like this? Can you do it real quick?
Pew, go get it.
Pick a card up. Pick your genre. Can you do it right? You're gonna wanna, bruh. It's first to 21. We'll get the job done. So grab your friends and fam, cause it's a lot of fun. Some do it with some class, but make it real fast. Cause time is kinda tricky. Can you do it in 60? Let's go. Get your copy today at singadu.com. Make sure you like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And tune in every Monday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you feel it in your heart, go ahead and donate. No dollar amount is too small. Kandid Kisses TV, baby. Not your typical interview, y'all. Wait, I can't forget. If you haven't already, check out artistperiod.com. Kandid Kisses TV has merchandise. Check us out on artistperiod.com. ARTISTPERIOD. Period.